If you follow me on YouTube, you know that I am a luxury beauty enthusiast and content creator based here in Miami, Florida, but I'm also a full-time accountant. Although at first glance these two topics don't go together, it might seem that they don't go together. Actually, they do go hand in hand, because as a content creator, you have a small business in your hands. To grow your business and be in compliance with tax laws and regulations, you have to know how accounting and taxes work, or at least have a brief knowledge of it, and also be aware of tax deductions and write-offs. For that reason, I decided to start this series called Tax Talk for Creators. It's something that I've been thinking about and working on, putting information together, doing my research, and trying to put the information in a way that it's understandable to you and it's relatable to you as a content creator or a small business owner. Most business owners, frankly, don't have time to do their own taxes. They probably don't have enough sufficient knowledge to take care of their books, keep the records, put their taxes together, prepare the forms, and that's why they decide to hire a professional or an accountant to do all that work for them. But do beauty content creators, or just content creators in general, need to hire an accountant? If they do, at what point in the business cycle is it necessary? Since this is the first episode of my podcast, I thought it was a good way to start talking about when and why you should hire an accountant. Disclaimer, I have to get this out there. The information that I present to you and I'm going to show you in this podcast is based on my own opinions, my own knowledge, my own research, my own experience. I've been working for more than 20 years, almost 25 years actually, as an accountant or with tax professionals. So it's based on that experience. And it's also concentrated geographically to the United States, specifically to the state of Florida, which is where I work and where I studied and where I graduated. So there's things that might be different in other countries and even in different states. So you have to be mindful of that. You should talk to a local professional, a local accountant. They could give you an orientation on how it works in your country if you're out of the United States, or in another state if you're not residing in the state of Florida. One example is the one I always give has to do with personal income tax. There are states that charge personal income tax. The state of Florida does, and there's other, like state of, I think it's Texas, Tennessee. There's a few states that don't charge personal income tax, but other states do, like California, New York, Massachusetts. Like there's various states that do. So that's something you have to be mindful and aware of in case that you don't live in the state of Florida. So again, this information is just based on my own experience and just here in the state of Florida, which is where I have more knowledge of. All right, so let's start with 8 reasons why you should hire an accountant. Number 1, you need advice when preparing a business plan. A business plan is basically a formal written document that's going to show potential vendors or creditors how your business is going to be in the near future or even in the long run. It shows them what your current goals are, how you plan to achieve them, what are you doing to get to those goals, and it gives them a general idea of how the business is going to be. Business plans also include financial information and budgets, which is kind of like a projection of what your revenue and expenses are going to be in the future. It gives them an idea of if you are going to be cash fluent, if you're going to have enough money to pay them as vendors, or if you're a creditor, they're going to lend you money. They want to know that your business is going to be working. It's going to be a working business that's going to be able to pay back their loans if they do give you a loan or a credit. Some small businesses, which might be your case, do not need a financial plan or do not need a business plan. You're not going to think about requesting credit from a vendor or a loan from a bank. And you might not need it, but in case you do need one, it's best to hire an accountant, a tax professional that has the software to prepare it, has the knowledge, not just in your business, but also in other types of business. We have a knowledge of most businesses, how they work. So we have the knowledge, the software, and the time, the expertise to prepare that financial plan for you. And they're going to prepare a financial plan that best expresses your goals and what are your plans for your business. Now, number 2 is you'll need advice about what structure to choose. I am planning to do a full video and another project that I have in the future for you guys that goes more in depth about business structures and what structure is best for you. But just to give you brief idea, this is a good time to hire an accountant if you have no idea what structure you should use for your business. What I mean by structures is the way that your business is organized. There's 3 main ones: is sole proprietorship, LLCs, and corporations. They all have their pros and cons, and that's why you need to hire an accountant or ask them for consulting, and they'll advise you which is best for you. Again, I'm going to go more in depth in a future episode, so stay tuned for that. And I'm going to give a lot of information and tables which is going to help you decide what is the best structure for you. That is for a future episode. Now keep in mind, just a little side note, that these are legal structures. It's the way that's organized in your country or in your state. It's not necessarily the way the IRS treats you. For example, you might be a sole proprietorship but decide to be treated as a corporation with the IRS. Like, all these little details is information that your accountant would advise you on what is best for you, and I will talk more about it in the future. All right, the third reason why you should hire an accountant is you need help with your finances. And what do I mean by that? Well, you need help to maintain your accounting records, and maybe not full-time because you might have some knowledge, but let's say you have no knowledge or very little knowledge about taxes and accounting records, then it's a good reason to hire an accountant because they have, again, the software, the expertise. They will help you keep those records so you dedicate more time to what you really love. Now, of course, you have to oversee what they do and ask all the questions you want because you want to be sure what they're doing, and you need to trust your accountant. But most of the work and the time, they're going to spend it and they're going to consume it, so you have more time for content creating and to do what you love, which is either making videos or photography or whatever it is. That you make a product and you sell it, whatever it is, you want to spend more time on that, making products, making sales, making content in case you're a content creator, than spending so much time on work that you could just hire someone else to do. You also need help with tax filing and payroll records or sales tax records and other tax filings that you have little or no knowledge on. They can prepare that for you and take that off of your hands. Okay, number 4 is related. It's when you want to delegate time. Take time off your hands and delegate that work to somebody else that has more expertise on that subject. Maybe not in the beginning, maybe you have more time, but as your business grows, you're going to have less and less time, more time that you want to dedicate on working on your business. So that's a time when you hire an accountant. You could delegate the boring stuff because some people find accounting and taxes boring, and that's fine, it's understandable. You could leave that boring stuff to the accountants and they'll take care of you while you do your thing. All right, number 5 is very important because maybe at this point you want to do things on your own, and that's fine. You have the knowledge and you want to just, you're hands-on. You like to have control of what you do, of your taxes, of your records, and that's fine. But let's say that you need help representing yourself in front of a government agency, let's say the IRS. Maybe it's a good time now to hire an accountant. They have the license, the time, the expertise on how to deal with these types of situations. And in my experience, I find that the government or governmental agencies treat you better or treat you differently if you have a representative, someone that knows what they're talking about to represent you. That's just my opinion. So I always recommend my friends and clients to have an accountant to represent you when you have to deal with government. And every country, every state have different laws and regulations, and CPA, which is a certified public accountant that is licensed in a specific state, so they're able to represent you on that state. So let's say you live in the state of Florida, then you should get a CPA, an accountant that is certified in the state of Florida. If you live in New York, you have to get a CPA that's licensed in the state of New York, so they can represent you in a court of law or with an IRS auditor. And laws vary from state to state, and they also change with time, especially when there's a new administration, like a new president. Laws do change, sometimes every year, sometimes every 4 years. It all depends. And accountants are on top of that. Tax preparers, CPAs specifically, are on top of those laws. They have to know. They're on top of the latest news, so they're able to help you and advise you, not just currently or to prepare your past tax return, but also to give you consulting services and financial planning for the future year with any new laws or any new regulations. Like, they'll be on top of it and they'll be able to advise you better. And you're going to want the best advice because honestly, who wants to pay more taxes than they have to? Nobody. So why are you going to do that, pay taxes and when necessarily you don't have to? You know, keeping in the law. We're not talking about nothing illegal here. Everything's with the law. And the accountant is going to advise you. The CPA is going to advise you what is best for you. You can use that money for investments, reinvest in your company and make it grow instead of paying it to the government when you don't really need to. All right, number 6 is similar, or it's tied with number 5, and it's in the case you get audited. It's not something that's going to happen often, but it could happen, and you're going to want a professional to represent you when you get audited. Not only they'll be able to help you put together the records. An audit is stressful, it could be expensive, it could be very time consuming, and you're gonna want a professional to help you. If at this point you still haven't hired an accountant but you get audited, then you're gonna have to, I recommend that you should get a professional, an accountant, a CPA to represent you. They're gonna advise you as well as what accounting software is best for you and what is the best way to keep records so you won't get audited again. And if you do get audited, you're ready for it. The 7th reason why you should hire an accountant is when you are ready to apply for a loan or a credit. An accountant can prepare financial statements adequately and back it up with information that the bank is going to ask you for. They could also answer all the bank's questions about your revenues and expenses and projections and the going on concern, which means if the business has potential to grow or to live off, or to live, I should say, and that way be able to pay back their loans if they do grant you a loan. They could also help you choose what loan is best for you and even recommend you a good bank that is going to help you and it's going to give you the best loan possible with the best interest possible and the best terms that you'll be able to commit to. All right, the last reason, 8th reason why you should hire an accountant. I mean, there's more reasons, but I'm just sticking to 8. The 8th reason why you should hire an accountant is when you are considering and buying a business or even selling your own. You could sell your business or buy a brand new business. Let's say you're starting off and you want to buy a new business and you have some questions, or you already have a business but you want to expand and buy another business and kind of like put it together with yours and just grow as a business, which is great. If you come to that point, your business has grown enough that you want to buy another business, well, then you should hire an accountant. And why? The same way the accountants could prepare financial information for you if you're thinking of selling your business or asking for a loan, they could also look into the financial information records of the potential company or the business that you're trying to buy. They could look into the financial statements and see how are their cash flows, they have potential to grow, if they're a good business to buy, and also evaluate if the business is worth it. Now, you hire a professional that do business valuations. That's not necessarily an accountant. It's just a company that it dedicates or concentrates on just doing that business valuations, but the accountant will look at the valuation and let you know if they think it's a good business and if you should buy it. Also, at this point, if you are trying to buy or sell a business, you should hire an attorney too, because an attorney will help you on the legal side of things while the accountant will just help you on the accounting and tax side of things. And they could work together and they'll give you a better picture of how that business looks. They would also look into if that business is in tax compliance with the IRS or other governmental agencies, also if they're in regulations or in compliance with creditors and vendors, because in some cases when you buy a business you inherit the problems as well. So you have to look into that. I've seen that before. Companies buy a business and they don't know they have this loan or this violation, and they don't know it, but they inherit it when they buy a business. So now they have to deal with that loan. They have to deal with that violation that business had. So that's something that accountants and lawyers would help you with. And if you're starting your own business, again, accountants will help you with the financial information, prepare financial statements that will reflect how well your business looks, so it could attract potential buyers and raise the value of your business so you could get more money out of your sale. Now that leads me to another side note, that why you need an accountant when you're selling your business, because you would also need advice on taxes, like how when you sell a business and you make a profit, hopefully you make a profit, then you're going to have to pay taxes on that profit. The accountants would advise you on what is the best way to sell that business. Maybe you don't have to get the money all up front. Maybe you do an installment sale. It's risky, but it's an option, so you don't have to report so much income in the first year. Maybe you spread that out for several years, and that is going to help you tax-wise. But again, that's something you have to discuss with your accountant, and they'll advise you what is best for your business and for you. So you see, accountants do help you in every step of your business. Maybe you don't have to hire them in the beginning or in the middle. Maybe there's only in certain situations where you think you should hire an accountant, but definitely you should consider hiring it when you need them. Hiring the right accountant for you is good for you, for your business. It takes time off your hand that you could dedicate for other things, and it makes your life much easier. You'll have more time and energy to do what you love, and you don't have to worry about those little things that, you know, another person with most likely better knowledge and expertise, they'll be better aware of what to do, and then they could help you better than if you do it yourself. If you have any questions or comments regarding anything that I mentioned in this video, this episode, please feel free to leave them down below in the comments section. Your question or comment might be answered in a future episode, so feel free to discuss it and leave it down below in the comments. This is all the information I have for you for now for this first episode. I think I gave you a really good idea of why and when to hire an accountant. I hope it is helpful. If it is, please consider subscribing to this podcast and clicking on the bell so you get notified of future episodes. I have a few planned already, and I'm going to be posting them very soon. I hope you enjoy this type of content and I am able to help you. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.